Okay, so let's go through and cover some tech stuff. First, video. Many people ask, what camera should I use? Well, that's very simple. The industry standard, a lot of the pros right now are using the Logitech HD Pro Webcam C920. That's what I'm currently using right now. However, I want to recommend that you spend a little bit more money, not a lot, and purchase the C930E. That's the upgraded version of the 920. And the reason I suggest this is simply because the C930E has a little bit better image quality. It also has better audio quality, but the most important, it has a larger field of view. A field of view is how much space you can get behind you. It's how much of a wide angle that you can get. And as I mentioned to all of you before, it's important to have that little extra space, especially if you want to demo some graphics over here in post-production, or you want to demo some props, or you want to gesture a lot. So this is the camera that I highly recommend without question. Okay, next is position your camera at eye level or slightly above. If your laptop is down lower than your eye level, elevate your laptop on books, or else get yourself a mini tripod and take the C930E and elevate it slightly above eye level. Slightly above, actually, because it makes you look a little bit thinner. If you come a little bit higher on your camera, coming down, it will actually get rid of that little chin area. People, what do they call it? The double chin or whatever. So it's going to make you look thinner and younger. This is really why you're going to go slightly above on the camera. Okay, next, make eye contact. Look at the lens, not the screen. Here's an opportunity again to take that avatar, stick it to your camera so you have something to look at rather than just looking at your camera. So again, just the importance of connecting with your audience by looking as close to the camera as possible. Okay, frame your shot. This is a mistake that's often made. Framing your shot simply means bringing your eye level at the upper third. If you can look at your screen, you look at your monitor and divide it into 3 sections. There's a lower third, a middle third, and an upper third. And you want your eyes to be at the upper third level. You could do this by adjusting your camera up or down like so. Or you can do this by raising and lowering your seat. Now look at this. Now, how weird does that look, right? And this is what a lot of people often do is they put their head right in the center. We want to make sure that we maintain that upper third level, and you see the difference right there. Okay, framing your shot. I also mentioned this to many of you before, but we want to capture it in the recording. It's okay to be off to the side. And look, I could actually have another co-host right here or co-guest. So 2 people can sit side by side, and this works very well. Keep in mind, if you have 2 people of different heights, like Maria and I, Maria's down here, I'm up here. The upper third the upper third rule is for the taller person, not the shorter person. Obviously, if Maria went upper third, then I would be cut off. And you can also adjust your seats if you want to adjust the height of the people to balance that. So just lots of tips here that will help you for your dress rehearsal. Okay, let's continue on. The next is control your background set. Consider using a screen. You see I'm using a screen right here. It's a black screen. Some people like to use white because white works good if you're wanting to put a lot of graphics in your presentation in post-production. You can easily put graphics on the white. You can also put graphics on the background. I encourage solid colors just to avoid distraction. You can have printed messages as long as the printed messages are in alignment with the topic, the message, the nature of your message. It should be in alignment. If it's not, people will read it. So stay away from things like bookshelves in the background with lots of book text, titles, and declutter. This is a great way of just instantly removing the clutter of what's going on behind you. Don't have your camera aiming into the kitchen with family members doing dishes in the background, people vacuuming and walking past. It's all very distracting to the viewer. So using a backdrop works very well. You could also consider using a green screen. Zoom has a very good feature where you can just upload an image of your choice and use one of those collapsible green screens. You can go on to Amazon and just order one. I can give you a suggestion as to which one we use, but it's those collapsible green screens that can just, they're portable. You can bring them with you. You can pop it up in a second and you're ready to go. And you have any image that you want, as long as you got the proper lighting to support the green screen, because there's a little bit of a, green screens need to be lit properly, but that's for another course. But if you're using it, just make sure that your green screen is serving you.
Karen asked, can you comment on the Zoom green screen and the scenery options through Zoom?
Yes. Okay, so in Zoom, there are some default options to select your green screen backdrop. None of them work for me. So what I do is I'll select any graphic that could be just a JPEG graphic, as long as it's high enough res. But most images, most web images are going to work well, and just upload that into Zoom. And again, try to stay away from distracting backgrounds. Like if you can find an image that contains good solid background that's non-distractive, I would do that. But again, it really varies with the nature of the message. So for instance, if I wanted to position myself, if I was William and wanted to position myself in front of the Eiffel Tower, but I wanted to save some money and not travel to Paris to do that, I would just take an image of the Eiffel Tower and put it, and maybe just position it so that it's in the background right here. Okay, so lots of options really with using green screens as to whatever image supports your message, you can do that. Okay, let's go over to the next tip: dress for success, dress for comfort. Many people have questions around this. Dress for success really just means dress appropriately to your profession and to your messaging. So for instance, it's okay for a chef to wear a chef hat or a chef uniform. It's not okay for maybe a professional speaker to wear a chef's hat and a chef's uniform, because it's going to be funky. People are not going to understand why you're dressing like that. So dress for comfort just simply means be comfortable. Don't wear something that's excessive, that's going to make you excessively hot, or don't wear constrictive clothing. Wear something where it makes you feel like a star. It makes you feel awesome. Clothing has the ability to elevate your energy. But again, just consider the nature of the clothing that you're wearing and the dress. And this goes beyond clothing. Jewelry. Stay away from distracting, gaudy jewelry. Stay away from clothing that is noisy, jewelry that's noisy, rattling sounds, because especially if you're wearing a lavalier microphone and you got this jewelry rattling right here, it's just going to play havoc with the audio recording. So a lot of factors can go in here. And again, this could be like a mini course in itself. It's just how to dress. But I want to keep it just very simple and basic right now.
Hey, Ray, I just need to jump in real quick. So when you said don't excessively hot, you mean temperature-wise, not like hot, of gorgeous, right? So that's one thing. So I just want to clarify that. And I love that when I can make you laugh. I mean, that's a great thing.
Okay, colors. Safest is stick to solid colors. You can't go wrong with blues. You notice I'm wearing blue here. Pastels are natural tones, but you also have to consider what background that you're going to be using, what backdrop that you're going to be using, and make sure that it's in alliance with those colors on your backdrop. So an example would be, it can be risky to use, let me just take this red off for a moment. It can be risky to just have all black on an all black backdrop, because what could actually happen if I don't have the right lighting, I can become a floating head. That's all you're going to see is my head, which is going to be really scary to many people. So we want to make sure that in the event that you have the clothing that's the same color as your background, and you're blending in, which could happen often. For an example, if you're at a conference room colors are very bland. And if you're wearing something bland, you can actually just make your whole video lackluster just because of the lack of color in it. So what I'll often do is, if I'm matching too closely to the backdrop, is I'll take a splash of bright color in the form of a scarf. This could be a tie, and I'll throw that around because it immediately adds contrast. Now I'm not at risk of being a floating head. The other thing I could do is I could use lighting to make sure that I have lighting going to my clothing that's going to offset my clothing from the backdrop. So the point here is don't lose yourself in the backdrop. Whites are risky colors simply because they can be very hot. They can blow out. Blow out just means you're on camera, your white is going to be so bright, so distracting, and it'll blow out all your other colors. It's just you're going to look pale. Your colors in your face are going to. So it's a bit of a risky color. But if you're wearing a white shirt, again, maybe a black scarf or a black blazer over top. If you're a man, a dark suit, a blue suit, dark blue, with the white shirt underneath is okay. Now, other thing to do is stay away from. I just label it all as stripes, checkers, and polka dots, because that could do a lot of funky stuff on a camera. So, and then there are exceptions, but generally speaking, stay away from stripes, checkers, and polka dots. Patterns, heavy patterns, because they could be very, first of all, they're distracting, but secondly, they could actually play havoc with the actual video image. You can actually get vibrations of images on your clothing, and some really crazy stuff can happen. So stay safe. You can't go wrong with a darker blue. Stay away from crazy patterns. Okay, and the last point on the video is, and this is so key, relax and smile. Now, I'm someone who I don't smile a whole lot when I have a relaxed face. I look like, when Maria and I were watching a movie or a show the other day, and the person said, his girlfriend said to him, you need to smile more because you look like you're about to murder someone's family. And I often look that way when I'm relaxed, and I'm not thinking grumpy thoughts, but I have to consciously remind myself that when I'm relaxed, especially when Maria's talking, I have to put a smile on my face because I just look like something's really, really wrong. So if you're one of those people, I empathize with you. We're not grumpy people. We just don't smile as much. And I know that's a habit, something I'm working on. Smile more. But smiling, I'll even practice what I preach right now. Smiling is well received. You want to look friendly to your audience. It also causes you to relax more. So know your subject material, be extemporaneous. It's going to cause you to relax. And my point here is, or it says, you got this. You got this. Everything that you've done up until now, you are ready. And even if you're not ready, you're ready. You're ready to move forward and be interviewed on camera, online.